In the last video, I showed how you could easily change your walking speed inside code. Now we're going to do something similar, but what we're going to do, instead of just changing it one time and it actually changes it and that's it, that's what we did with changing the movement speed. Now we're going to make it so if we push a button, it changes something that we're doing. And what I'm going to do is if we push the left shift key, that it's going to make us sprint. And to do this, we've already added some of the stuff that we needed, but the owner character and stuff, so stuff that we did last time, we're going to use some of that again in this time, but we're going to use a different function. In the last one, we used the begin play function, and that just meant when the play began, then it ran this once, right? And it only ran it once. Now we're going to use this one down at the bottom, which is the tick component. And what tick component means is it just means it runs every second, so called every frame, right? So this is something that it's going to check to see if we push the button, and if the button's down, it's going to change the speed. And so it's going to be very similar to what this was. In fact, we're going to use the exact same information. So we're going to add, just like we did before, the a character, and it's a pointer, and the owner character, and that equals the cast of a character, and it gets from get owner. So right, so this is basically just creating a pointer to that character class, and it's making sure that it's an A character class instead of just an actor class, which is the defaults. And then we're seeing if the owner character, if I spelled character right, character. See, I told you I'm not very good at spelling. And what this true false is this is getting a pointer to the location of address, and making sure that what this part is doing is making sure that that actually happened, and that, because if it didn't work, and if it wasn't a character, if it was something like a door or something else that wasn't something that you can actually control and move, then this would be a null pointer, and so then it wouldn't work. So that's why we use this, because you don't want to use a pointer if you're not actually pointing to the thing. If you're pointing to nothing, then you wouldn't want to use it. And so then we're going to put in some more if statements. So that was just the if statement to only do this if we actually have a valid character that we are controlling. Now we're going to have other logic, which is if owner character and we're still using the pointer. Get world. So that is just another function, right? And this one is then pointing to another one, which, and I'll put it on the same line here. First player controller. And to another one that is input key down. And it's going to ask for inputs. And you can see when you put the parentheses in, it has a little pop-up that tells you what goes in it. So it needs a key. And so that's E. We're going to put E keys. And you could look this up on the left shift on the Unreal web page. And basically what we're doing is we're using a library with the E keys. And what I mean by that is this is a library that Unreal has of different keys that you have on your keyboard, and one of them is left shift, and so it has like a namespace where it has all the keys listed, and we are using the left shift one. So if you wanted to go look for those, if you go and look for e-keys on the Unreal website, you could find a page where it would tell you a whole list of all the different keys. And I think we could probably also pull up here, right? This would just give you like the keys too, right? So like you can see if it was just key G, if I looked for right, like the right alt, right control key, right? We're using the left control key. And so we're just doing a logic statement here for, this is basically just saying we have our character, and then all of this is just so that you could get to this last function. This is a function that says, is the key input key pushed down? If it's pushed down, then the left control key, if it's pushed down, then we're going to want to do whatever we're going to do. And what we're going to do is the same thing we did up here. And so we could just copy this, right? Which is owner character. We're getting the character movement, their max walking speed, and we're setting it. But instead of setting it to movement speed, what we want to do is we have another variable, right, from our previous one where we changed the sprint speed. And so we're going to change it to sprint speed. And then what we're going to do is else. And we're going to do the same thing about this, but instead of sprint speed, we're going to change it to the movement speed. And so all that's happening here is, right, if we are pointing to an actual character that we needed, the A character type, and they push down the left control key, then we're going to change the movement speed to the sprint speed, and else it's going to change the movement speed back to regular. And so we're going to remember to hit save this time, because I didn't do save in the last video, and get back in Unreal. And then down here at the bottom, we're going to compile again. And we got live coding succeeded, so we're happy. We're going to hit play. And we're going to test it out. And you can see we've definitely changed our speed. We're walking slow, right? And now I'm going to hit the left control key. And now I'm sprinting. And I released it, and I'm walking. And I pushed it, and I'm sprinting. So there you go, how we changed the sprint speed. One thing I want to note before I leave this is that this would be a lot, I should say, of overhead for your program, because not only does this happen every tick, it happens every tick regardless if the button's pushed or not, right? Because it comes in and checks this and says, oh, the left control key is here, so then it's setting this movement speed every single time that the character is playing. So we will learn later a better way to do this in a future video. So I'll see you in the next video.